feet. Keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for me? Pulling back the reins, letting go.
Hey everyone, it's Skyee here, and welcome to our August color along, which again, this color along is going to be a Hannah Lynn color along. I think for the next one, maybe we'll switch it up and do a different artist. But I wanted to do another Hannah Lynn color along because we haven't done one from her second newest book yet, which is Whimsy Girls at Work, because when this came out, I was kind of swamped with everything, didn't have access to pretty much any of my emails or a lot of my YouTube stuff for some reason, so I didn't even have time to color anything in here. This book has been completely untouched, but we are going to change that today. So the page that we are going to be coloring is Cut and Color, and I think this one will be super awesome because we'll get to try a few different effects for this one. So we've got this really pretty mirror in the background, and I feel like a lot of people might struggle with doing mirrors. Me personally, I do as well, but we're going to see what we can do with that. And then also like the brick in the background, we can do some interesting textures with that. Maybe we might add some wood texture to the cupboards and stuff down here. I'm not sure if I want to add texture or just kind of color them in normally, but we can kind of play around with a lot of different things on this picture. And the thing that most drug me to it is her jewelry, because I feel like that just screams for gold. And then her hair. I feel like since she's a hairdresser, we can give her like a fun hairstyle. So we're actually going to start with the hair. I've hardly even opened this book. It does not want to lay flat, so bear with me. Let's see if I can steal some paper to pop behind my page here. I've only got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 books on my work in progress shelf that I need to get through. And we're about to add number 6. I have this habit with starting things and not finishing them. I think I'm actually going to grab a new pieces of paper because those ones are not very good. Alright. So we just pop paper behind our pages to protect the pages behind, protect the tooth of the paper, all of that fun stuff, and especially if you're using markers and stuff, which I'm kind of considering using a marker base on this, but I think we won't. I think we'll just stick to pencils and keep it simple. So, since we're going to start with her hair, let's zoom in. Maybe about there. Okay. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my cream. Actually, no, I lied. We're going to come in with hot pink. You guys probably think I'm crazy. We're not doing all of her hair pink, I promise, but we are giving her pink tips. So I'm just going to come in with the hot pink, and I'm just going to color in the tips of her hair. I'm not going to bring it up too far. We can always bring it up farther if we need to, but just kind of want to block in kind of how it's going to look. I don't have like a complete vision for this page, so it's kind of up in the air how it might turn out. I'm uncertain on a lot of different parts of it, but we'll figure it out for sure. Some of these I'm going to make like a little bit higher, like we'll make this one higher here. I made this strand come a little higher because I don't want them all to be the same because that's going to make it look kind of strange. Maybe make this one come higher, and this one too here. Give her a little tiny bit on that little bit back there, I think. Okay. So now that we've got our hot pink in there a little bit, switch to the cream, and I'm just going to base everything else with this just lightly. I'm on the fence about trying to make her hair semi-realistic instead of doing like the cartoony kind of coloring that we always do for their hair. I feel like it'd be a little bit easier to do since she doesn't have a whole lot of hair. Oh, I love her already. Okay. I'm not sure what order I want to do this in. Let's come in with our second darkest color, which is the goldenrod. I have to sharpen this. So I kind of want her hair to be blonde. I don't want to go too dark anywhere, so I'm just gonna use this really lightly because it's already a really dark color. Well, it's not really dark, but it's really dark compared to how I want her hair to be. And I'm just gonna come in and kind of shadow in behind these strands. Kind of see what that looks like and go from there. So on this side, I put all of the shadows to the left of the strands, and this side, I'm going to put it all to the right of the strands. I'm going to come in with the dark purple, and I'm going to do the same thing on the pink areas, just super, super light. Just bring it slightly up into the yellows. Okay. Let's come in with our sand. I'm just going to kind of come out from the roots of her hair. Again, using just really light pressure. This is kind of like a light medium pressure here. I don't want to fully commit to anything because I'm so uncertain. We're just going to kind of slowly build this up until we're a little bit more confident in how it looks. I'm going to just fade this out, start coloring a little bit lighter. I'm going to continue to bring it down. I'm going to bring it up a little bit from the pink. Or maybe add a little bit of pink to that little tip there too, I think. Let's bring this shadow down a little further. I kind of want to separate this block of hair from the stuff back here, so I'm just going to darken that up there a little bit, fade it out. I'm going to make the highlights a little bit different. So the highlight is going to be kind of around here on this one, and then it'll be a little bit further back, I think, on this one here. And then this one, the highlight's kind of going to wrap around her head a little bit, so it's going to be like in this general area. Okay, let's go back in with our goldenrod now that we have that. We're going to kind of darken up the roots a little bit more here. Just adding another light layer. Let's start adding some flicking motions in here. So we're just going to kind of loosen up our wrist a little bit and just make some flicking motions kind of in the same, following the same, can't talk, following the same lines that Hannah's drawn in here. If you're not confident in doing this, just start off really light until you get that motion built up, and then you can just kind of increase your pressure a little bit. I actually recommend doing that anyways, because then it gives you like a different variation in your lines. Some will be darker, some will be a little bit lighter. It'll make the page look a little bit more interesting. The tricky part, I think, is going to be kind of like doing the tips and stuff. So I'm gonna just kind of start from where the yellow is. I'm not gonna go into the pink too much. And I'm just gonna make some flicking motions towards the top as well. Kind of fading it off as you get into the center area. Again, some are going to be lighter, some are going to be darker. I'm not going for completely realistic, I'm going for semi-realistic. So it's definitely not going to look perfect, and that is totally okay. Let's do the same thing on this side. We'll darken up the roots a little bit using some light pressure here. And these are at awkward angles for me, so in order to kind of flick these ones, I'm going to have to turn the page a little bit here. And then just follow the exact same steps. Like, before I carry on though, I'm going to grab the hot pink, and I want to bring this one up a little bit, and then I also wanted to add a little bit of the hot pink on that tip right there too. Actually, use this one as well. There we go. Sharpen my pencil a little bit more. I want a really nice point on it, so we got some really thin lines here. Just gonna darken up a few of these lines. Hot pink is going in up there. little bit of hair is kind of in the back, so I'm going to darken up the top and bottoms of that piece just to make sure it looks like it's in the back. Okay, I like that. So we're going to go in with our darkest color very carefully because her hair is already turning out a little bit darker than I was planning, but that's usually how it goes for me. Just got a really nice pointy point on this pencil. So this is the pumpkin orange. Okay, I'm going to use this just in the very, very roots of her hair. Just fade it out a little bit. Don't want it coming out too far. And then we can just very lightly flick a little bit of this color in as well. This part here is going to be a little bit enshadowed because it's kind of coming out at a weird kind of area. It looks like it's kind of tucked in behind both of these strands. Let's maybe darken up the shadow behind this one here as well, and this one. And we'll do the same thing on this side here. I'll turn this a little bit. Okay, I like that. So let's kind of do the same thing with our dark purple, I think. So we're just gonna lightly flick some of the dark purple up into our yellows. Only a little bit, because I don't really want too much of this color anyways. Do the same with the hot pink. This one we can go a little bit crazier because we'll have more of that color in. One second here. Okay. Add a little bit of darker color to these ones here. Okay, so what color's next? I guess we'll go in with the sand. Do the same thing. We can go a little bit darker with this one because it's a very light color, so it's not really going to do too much. Just make sure and try and preserve our highlights as much as we can. I don't want to go over those too much. trying to bring this one into the pink a little bit too to kind of help blend those colors. It doesn't go too orangey, which is nice, but it still kind of transitions them quite well. Okay, and then our next color is actually Deco Yellow. So we're just going to do the exact same thing with this. I'm not going to go into the highlights too much with this, but I'm going to go kind of over our yellows and stuff quite a bit here, lighten them up, bring a little bit of extra life into them. So we've got some really pretty contrast and shadows in her natural hair color, we'll say. And then the tips are just a little bit too flat for my liking. So actually I'm going to bring in another color here. Let's bring the Processed Red in. Let's add a little bit of this. So just add some flicking motions of this just out from the tips. It's going to be a little bit tricky because all of the hair strands are really thin down here. So we don't want to go too crazy with it because we don't want to lose our hot pink, but we want to add in kind of enough to just add a little bit of interest and make it look like, you know, this is semi-realistic hair too, right? So we'll just slowly add little bits at a time and just build up from there. Let's go back in with our dark purple and then just really shadow some of these. I think that'll kind of help bring them to life too. Okay, I like that. I think we're going to leave it like that. So I'm going to come in with the neon pink. Let's put a sharper tip on this as well. Oops. Okay. So I'm just going to lightly color over the pink. This is going to really give her super vibrant pink tips. They're going to really pop. Just going to fade it up into the yellow just a little bit. So a little bit darker. We can kind of flick this one out too. So a little bit darker near the very tips, and then we'll kind of soften it up as we go up. There we go. And then lastly, we're going to come in with our cream. Let's get rid of some of this pencil dust. And instead of using our small circular motions that we usually do, I'm just going to burnish and add this color going in the same directions as her hair. So I'm just going to burnish everything. Bring it into the pink a little bit, blend those together. Alright, so there's her hair done. I actually really liked how that turned out. It's a little bit more time consuming than usual. Normally it would take us like half an hour to do like a larger amount of hair, but it's definitely worth it doing it that way. So I'm going to quickly write down these colors and then we will move on to the next part. Okay, so with that done, let's see, I think I want to move on to her lips. Okay, so for her lips, we're going to use Process Red. I'm just going to kind of outline the bottom of her lower lip with this. I'm just going to fade it out a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of outline the bottom of the top part of her lip as well. It's a really small area, so it's a little bit tricky. We'll come in with the hot pink. Kind of bring that out a little bit from there. Okay, then we're going to come in with salmon pink. I'm going to go over both of those. Fade it out a little bit, while still just kind of lightly going over everything. Just going to completely color in the top portion. Not fully burnished, but it's just completely colored in. We're going to grab our Deco Yellow and just lightly go over the entire area. So let's see, we've used Process Red, Hot Pink, Satin Pink, Deco Yellow, and then I think let's burnish it with the Deco Peach. I'm on the fence about whether I want to kind of outline it a little bit darker. I always get a smudge here and then I always have to turn it into a mole. I don't know how I always do that. Yeah, I do think she needs something a little bit darker. Let's bring in the dark purple. And just give her lips a light outline. I don't want to go in too much, so I'm just being very, very, very careful. It's very subtle, but it's a little bit better. Alright, now let's move on to her jeans. Just because these were the only things that I really knew what color I was gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the black. I'm gonna start on this side here. I want to get rid of this line that Hannah drew in here. So I want to keep this side of her jeans really dark. I mean, it's okay if we can somewhat see the line through the pencil crayon, but I just want to make it not very noticeable. I want to go over and do just white stitching for her jeans. So I'm going to go really dark on the outside of this leg, and then I'm just going to gradually fade it out. Just really light pressure, little small circles, the usual. You don't have to get that fade perfect because we're going to come in with another dark color. And then let's also throw a little bit of black in on this side here. Maybe just a little tiny bit on the other side too. We're not going to go quite so dark. Okay, so like that, I think. I'm completely ignoring shadows, proper shadows and highlights right now. So let's go with the purple dioxazine hue. So we're going to pop that in over the black pretty dark. Fade it out. I'm going to try and have a little bit of lighter color up on her hip here. It's not too much room, but we'll do our best. So I'm just going to make sure there's a little bit of a kind of highlight area there. My hot chocolate is getting cold. Okay. Okay, hopefully you guys don't mind, but I think it's going to be a little bit easier to do this sideways here. So I'm just working really light layers to kind of build up this color. Oh, apparently we've got some clouds near the sun. Sorry if the lighting kind of gets crappy and then goes back to good. Out my window it's all just blue sky, but there must be clouds on the other side of the house where the sun is. Now really dark over here. Really mixing the purple and the black together. Be quite a few clouds, it's constantly doing it. I might have to turn my light on because it's bothering my eyes a little bit going from bright to dimmer like that. Okay. Definitely have to darken up this side a little bit more, just at the very edge. Let's maybe pop a little bit of this color in on this side of her leg here too. As well as we'll kind of create a little bit of a shadow underneath her apron. Kind of going back and forth and creating kind of like these little lines. I mean, they're jeans, so it's okay if we give them a little bit of texture. I kind of like the looks of that, so I'm going to just carry on with it. Just going to make this side of the shadow darker and then lighten it up as it kind of gets closer to her leg here. Okay. Ultramarine is our next color. I'm not sure how well these are going to blend together. Let's just start off light and kind of figure it out and feel how well they mix. Too bad. I'm actually kind of digging this color that these colors mix into. They're a little bit tricky to mix together. I find that both the purple, is it dioxazine purple hue, and this ultramarine are kind of almost like chalky in a way. They feel kind of, they really grab the paper, which is good, but at the same time it makes them really hard to kind of blend together, and that's another reason why I'm kind of doing this like broken off kind of line look, because it'll kind of help hide the fact that they're not going to be seamlessly blended, but it'll add texture to the jeans, so I think it's going to work. Hopefully anyways. But we're still going to try and blend them out the best we can. Let's maybe darken up just underneath this here. back in with the dioxazine purple hue here and just, the ultramarine kind of took a little bit of that color away, so I just want to add a little bit back in, especially over on this side here. Okay. And then we'll also bring our ultramarine up into our hip here. And this we can pretty much just color in the entire thing. I'm not going to burnish it though. I think I'm going to use the blender pencil to burnish, or maybe like a light blue. I'm not sure. We'll kind of see how that goes. Our next color is the light aqua. So I'm just going to lightly kind of pop this in here. We'll go a little bit darker in at the darker edges, then lighten it up, because I don't think I want this color full on. I think it'll look a little strange. So it's just a little too blue. So it's added a little bit darker near the shadows to kind of blend them out a little bit. Kind of just leave it all splotchy, kind of like that, I think. And then let's come in with the cloud blue. I think we could probably burnish it with this. It doesn't seem to be, you know, lightening up the shadows too much. Let's do that. And I'm not using small circles for this really. I'm just kind of going back and forth. I want to keep that kind of jean texture in there. I'm just going to turn this so it's a little bit easier to do. What are we at for time? We're only at 43 minutes. To figure out a couple other things to color. There's one side done. Forget about her hip here. Oh, hopefully I was in frame. Oh my goodness. I pulled the book down too far. Okay, well, you just missed burnishing, so nothing too exciting if it wasn't in frame. I really don't know what to do with her clothes. Like, I keep seeing these little flower bits in like light blue, but then I also think that the mirror is probably gonna be like blue. I don't know how to color that yet. I don't know. I also don't know what color her apron's gonna be. I'm thinking just like a white, kind of like gray, but I'm not really sure. Okay, let's come in with the light aqua, and we're just gonna Add a little bit of shadow to these little patches on her jeans here. We're going to add a little bit of the ultramarine, just a tiny little bit. I don't want to make these dark. I just want to add a little bit of color to them. And then I'm going to sharpen up the cloud blue. We're going to lightly go over with that and see what that looks like. I'm not burnishing it yet or anything. It's a little too dark. Let's erase a little bit of it. Actually, I kind of like that. You can just use any normal eraser. You don't need anything fancy. And then let's go in with, I don't have a swatch for this. I'm not going to grab it, but let's go in with the white. And we'll burnish it with that. So it gives a little bit of color because the eraser, of course, doesn't pick up all the blue in there. And then let's go in with the Posca pennant. Just go over these lines. There we go. I like that. Okay, let me look up a couple pictures of mirrors and see if anybody else has like colored mirrors so I can kind of get an idea of how to tackle that, and then maybe we'll finish this off with that. Okay, be right back. Okay, this might add a little bit of extra, kind of like unnecessary time. I usually try and pause and get organized and make everything as smooth as I can, but for something like this, when you're unsure of how to color something, I think it's also good to kind of know the process as well. So let's figure that out. So we got our pencils here, and we got our swatch book. So I'm definitely thinking blue. I'm thinking like a really light blues and grays. So we used the cloud blue, I believe. This is, yeah, cloud blue. We used the cloud blue on her pants. I definitely want to include that because it's more of like a grayish colored blue. So I definitely want to use that. I'm thinking the sky blue light as well. We definitely want to stick to the super, super light blues. And then I'm also thinking, I like this one, but I don't want to go too bright, so maybe we'll do blue slate. So let's grab the blue slate and the sky blue light. That's Blue Lake. Which one's this? Powder blue. Not the one I want. Okay, so this is sky blue light. Blue slate is supposed to be close to that. Ah, it's like right beside the one I was looking at. Okay, so we got those. So that'll be good for our blues. I also want to throw some grays in here. Of course, we're going to stick to cool grays, so we'll probably use a little bit of the 10% cool gray. Maybe a little bit of the 30% might be too dark. So let's grab the 10 and 20 in the cool grays, and then we'll also use our white. And hopefully that will give us some good colors. I'm going to grab swatches and then we'll start and hopefully be successful. Alright, we got all our colors. Let's just zoom in a little bit here. So we've just got mirror. I will try to remember to not move the book, but you guys all know how good I am at doing that. Okay. A little bit nervous, but I think we can pull this off. And we're gonna start with our darkest color first, which sounds crazy, but trust me, trust. Okay, we can do this. So, I don't know, I'm just gonna wing it. We're gonna go with it. Oh, swatches. Yes, we have those. Okay, blue slate. So we're gonna start off with this. And I'm gonna kind of come alongside the inside of the mirror. And I'm thinking like beautiful gold mirror, which will be cool because it's like a circle, so it'll be gold. It's either gonna be gold or black. I'm not 100% sure, but either gold or black. And if it's gold, it'll be neat because it'll match her earrings and stuff, because of course we gotta make those gold. But I think black would be really nice too. I don't know. There's just so many different color choices. I want to use all of them. Okay, so we're gonna go in there, gently fade out. I'm also gonna elongate these lines that Hannah's put in here. Can we use some fancy words? If you can hear my tummy, don't mind it. It's just grumpy. I'm not even hungry, but it's just growling. I have a very talkative tummy. So we're gonna kind of shadow those. That way later on we can still kind of see them because we're gonna go over the lines with white, I think. I don't know if I want to go around the entire mirror or not. I don't think we will. I think we'll kind of keep it to there and we'll maybe fade it off right here. Let's actually make this, we might go around the whole mirror, but it won't be as dark. I'm not sure yet. Let's maybe add a little bit here too. Just, we'll go around the whole circle, but just lighter. Some little circles to fade it out. We'll go really, really light down here. You guys might not even be able to see this. It's so light. I'm not sure. It looks like you can just see it. Hopefully my editing app, I'm going to be using a new one for these videos, so hopefully it'll work. It's nothing fancy. I didn't buy a new one, just kind of upgraded the computer a little bit to make life a little bit easier for things that are going on right now, so. And we're done. No, just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna darken this up even more, I think, which seems crazy, but I find when I'm uncertain about things, I usually just follow my gut, and it usually turns out good. So we're just gonna hope that my gut's not lying to me, because it sure is talking. Shh, be quiet down there. I'm surprised we haven't had any cats come bug us. They must be locked outside or something. Usually Miss Lilo's in here by now. At least, if not the rest of them. Let's darken these up just a little bit too. Just not all of it, just kind of more in the center of the lines. Okay, so I think that's probably good for that color. Let's move on to, I don't know which one's darker. I think the cloud blue is darker, so let's move on to that. And I think we're gonna mix our cloud blue in with this color and kind of bring it out a little bit. Again, working really light. We're still gonna throw some grays in here to kind of mute the blues. And then we'll probably go over the whole thing with white to really mute all of it together. Okay. Yes, thank you, sun. Come back out. Okay, we're also going to kind of come out from these lines as well, just following the direction of them, bringing them out pretty much everywhere. So I'm bringing them out a little bit, you know, vertically, or no, horizontally. Yeah, and then also down a little bit from where we put the shadow. Can't English today, so sorry. And if I'm a little bit more talkative and sillier than usual, it's probably because I spiked my hot chocolate. Only with coffee though, not the good stuff, it's too early for that. But we are going out for supper for my dad's birthday tonight, so that will go later. I don't know about you guys, but this is kind of giving me mirror vibes, just a little bit. Okay, I like that. So let's go in with the sky blue light next. Make sure the tip of it is clean. And then I'm just gonna lightly blush this kind of into the color that we had before, the cloud blue. And then we're just gonna lightly pop it kind of everywhere else. This is really light, you guys probably can't see it. I can hardly see it. But it does take away the white and adds just a little bit of the blue back into it. Not bad. Let's go in with our grays. So we only have the two. I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this. Let's start with our darker gray, which is the 20%, this one here. And I think what we're going to do, since we kind of had 3 blues and 3 grays, technically if you count the white as the lightest gray, so we're just going to go over those colors the exact same and just kind of add a gray tinge to them. So I'm going to pop the 20% in everywhere that we use the slate gray. So pretty much just all around the border, a little bit under these mirror lines, reflection lines here. I'm not being overly neat with this, I'm just being really messy and just popping the color in there. I figure the less of a perfectionist I am with this, the better it'll probably turn out. I am maintaining with the light circles though, because I do want to keep everything smooth. And then we can come in with a 10% cool gray. Same thing. Actually, I think with this, we're just going to go over everything. It's interesting how I've started coloring this. Usually things make sense Like I'll usually like color the hair and then something closer to the hair. And I've got like stuff from all over the page. Just going to be really interesting in making a thumbnail because now I'm going to have to decide whether to showcase her hair or her pants. But I try to show a different area in every thumbnail, so kind of see how the other thumbnails turn out and what we color in them and just kind of go from there. I'm a little bit OCD with things, so. Oh no, I think it just looks white on camera. Hopefully it's just me and it doesn't actually look like that. We have white, yes. Well, now I'm wondering, maybe I shouldn't use the white. I don't know what to do now. Okay, I'm gonna color this little triangle here with white. Yep, and then I'm gonna color this bigger triangle in with the sky blue light, and we'll see which one looks better. You know what, let's go in with the sky blue light. Might regret this, might not, who knows, but we're doing it. Let's go in with like a medium sky blue light pressure and then we'll burnish it with the white to lighten it up. Hopefully that'll give it a little bit more color. I don't want the mirror to get lost. I mean, to me, it looks good. It looks like a mirror, but I don't know if on camera if it's actually showing up. I don't want it to look just like I left everything white. Okay. It actually didn't darken it up too much, so good risk. And then we're gonna go in with our white and we're gonna burnish everything with this and smooth it out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I really don't want to. Hold on here one sec. I just got asked if I can cover for work. This is, I work, let's see, I worked Sunday, I worked Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and then I have a half day. So I work 4.5 days already this week. They make it like 5.5. Yeah. If I can find my schedule, there we go. I have to think on this. Oh no, I can't. I got Dad's supper tonight. Yeah, I'm the one paying for that, and I made reservations, so actually half paying. Me and my mom are supposed to be splitting the bill, but we'll see if she actually honors that, because last time when I asked them if they wanted to go halves on Rain's birthday supper, my dad just paid for it before I even got there. He just paid in advance, and he just told the waitress to keep whatever was left, so yeah, he's that kind of person. I was mad at him. But yeah, I actually requested today off, so oh well. be nice to have another day on the schedule, you know, money-wise, but no, not worth it. I'm already way too tired. There we go. I think that definitely looks very mirror-y. Mirror-y? Looks like a mirror, yes. Okay, so now let's go in with the Posca pen, or you could use a white gel pen or whatever you have. And we're just going to go over these lines. The black is still going to show through a little bit because my Posca pen sucks, but I actually kind of prefer that because then you can kind of tell there's lines there and they're not just completely gone. They're just more like diluted down. Oh no, my Posca pen decided to actually work. Oh well. Oh no. Posca pen either wants to work 100 or 0. Stop that. Okay. I actually don't know if I like that. We'll leave it for now and see. I think I might have actually preferred the lines in there. We might just go back in with like a pencil or like a really light blue to just kind of really faintly put lines back in there, but we'll see. What are we at now? Minute 10. How many Fridays do we have this month? I'm recording in advance as always. We've got 4. I think we should be okay for time. I always say that and we usually aren't, but we can always make some videos longer, right? So zoom out. So this is what we got done. I am actually really liking this already. Hopefully you guys are too. Hopefully you guys are learning a little bit, and I'm definitely learning a lot, experimenting and trying to show you guys that I know what I'm doing when I really don't. Very good at winging it, yes. So that is it for part 1. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys in part 2. As always, take care. See you next time. Bye!
Stars fall at my feet, keep me grounded as I reach higher than I see. Is there something there for me?